Today's training is the first back for his comeback.
So what he's trying to say is he's going to retire after this year because this old man's on the way back.
All right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Untitled Chapter. So probably the most requested topic for a video right now is will Lee Priest be making a comeback anytime soon to compete in the 212 division? Now, the reason for this, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen this already, so on Flex Lewis's Instagram story, he's training with Lee Priest, and Lee Priest jokingly says he's going to beat Flex Lewis at the 212 Olympia. So obviously, Lee Priest was joking in that video, but could this be foreshadowing of a potential Lee Priest comeback? Now, as we've seen, Lee Priest has been a lot more active, going to a lot more expos, going to IFBB events, taking pictures with a lot of the current pros, posting them on Instagram. He's been a lot more open in the IFBB circles than he has been for the past 10 years. I mean, Lee Priest was banned from the IFBB back in 2006 due to competing in a competition, really, that wasn't sanctioned by the IFBB. So it was the IFBB's non-sanctioned policy that ended up getting him banned from the IFBB, and that was back in 2006. Now, even though that was all the way back in 2006, 12 years ago, it's not that Lee Priest has not been bodybuilding that past 12 years. I mean, he competed as recently as 2013, winning the 2013 NABA Mr. Universe. So he's competed within the last 5 years. So when you talk about guys that have made unsuccessful comebacks like Kevin Levrone or Flex Wheeler, these are guys that took large chunks of time where they didn't train. They weren't training for bodybuilding. They stopped being bodybuilders for a large chunk of time, whereas Lee Priest has always been Lee Priest. I mean, he's been training this entire time. Again, he competed back in 2013, and he's only 45 years old. Now, Kevin Levrone, I believe, was 53 at the Arnold Classic Australia in 2018. So Lee Priest is a full decade younger almost than Kevin Levrone. And even though Kevin Levrone didn't place, he still looked very respectable on stage. So could Lee Priest make a comeback? I think absolutely he could. And I would even say absolutely he could if he were intending to come back in the men's open division. But since he mentioned the men's 212 division, that brings up a very interesting point, because this is something that Kevin Levrone wasn't able to do. But this is something that Flex Wheeler tried to do when he competed in Classic Physique. There's these new divisions now that weren't around back in the late 90s and early 2000s. So Lee Priest has a new opportunity to compete in a division that he's never competed in before, in the 212 division. Because even though Lee Priest was very successful in the men's open division back when he competed with the IFBB, he only weighed just over 200 pounds, maybe 220 max in competition condition. So the 212 is actually a perfect division for Lee Priest, who stands only 5'4". So the potential is actually there for Lee Priest to come back, compete in the 212 Olympia, and actually place even higher than he ever placed competing in the men's open Olympia. Now, I believe his highest placing in the men's open Olympia was a 6th place finish at the Olympia. So the question is, could he compete in the 212 Olympia and place higher than 6th? I think absolutely that is a possibility. Now, of course, there are two major factors that are going to come into play here. Number one, whether or not the IFBB is going to let him come back, which is something that seems to be a possibility right now, because he's going to all these IFBB events, which he wasn't going to before. Some people were saying he wasn't allowed to go to some of these events before. Now he's going to the Arnold Classic. He's going to all these different expos. So he's definitely trying to get in a little bit more on this side of the sport. So I do think it's a possibility that the IFBB might let him compete. I mean, again, it's been 10 years now since the whole, kind of bullshit situation with banning him. And as they say, time heals all wounds. So maybe this bad blood is kind of past, and he might have the opportunity to compete. Now, the other obvious variable here is going to be Lee Priest's tattoos. Will his tattoos hinder his placing or hinder his ability to compete on the IFBB level, especially the Olympia level? And I think, honestly, they might be a disadvantage. He had some tattoos back when he was in the IFBB before, but not nearly to the extent that he has now. But however, in 2013, when he won the Mr. Universe, he had a ton of tattoos, and he was still able to win the biggest title in NABA, the NABA Mr. Universe. So could the tattoos hurt his placing? Maybe a little bit, but do they disqualify him from still being a good bodybuilder? As we can see with the NABA Universe, clearly not. You can still win a show with tattoos. So the myth that, if you get all these tattoos, it'll destroy your physique, it'll destroy your placings, he really proved all that wrong with the 2013 Universe win. So while right now it's still it's all speculation, but since people keep asking me, do I think he will come back? Do I think he can come back? How do I think he will do? The answer is yes. I think he certainly can come back. And the answer is also yes. I think he can come back and have a successful showing at a show like the Olympia, at a show like the Arnold Classic 212 even. I think those are certainly possibilities for him. I think the door is wide open for him. Hell, David Henry, who is a 212 bodybuilder, is 43 years old, only 2 years younger than Lee Priest, and he just took 5th at the Arnold Classic in 2018 and took 4th at the 2017 Olympia in the 212. So again, the possibility is certainly there for Lee Priest to make a comeback, and personally, I certainly hope he does. So let me know in the comment section below what you guys think. Do you think Lee Priest is going to make a comeback? Do you think he can? And would you like to see him make a comeback? So please give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Nick Strength and Power, signing out.